You ever have a moment where your whole world tilts sideways? Like you're standing on solid ground 1 second, and the next, you're free falling into a pit you didn't even know existed? That was me, standing in the middle of our living room, holding a beer I hadn't even touched yet, while my wife, my beautiful, clever, wicked wife, dropped a bomb so casually, I half wondered if I'd heard her wrong. An open marriage, that's what every wife dreams of. I'm going to open up our marriage, whether you like it or not, Ashley declared, her hands on her hips, her smile a knife. At first, I laughed. It had to be a joke. This wasn't real life. This was something you read about in those trashy magazines next to the checkout aisle. But her face, oh man, her face was dead serious. That smug little tilt of her head, like she was daring me to say no. Like she already knew I wouldn't have the guts. I set my beer down carefully, like maybe if I moved slow enough, reality wouldn't hit me all at once. You're joking, Ash, I said, voice rough, trying to drag her back to sanity. She smirked. No, Jason. I'm serious. You can either get with the program or get out. And just like that, she turned and walked into the kitchen, humming like she hadn't just ripped the rug out from under our marriage. I stood there frozen, watching her perfect little figure move around the kitchen like she hadn't just told me she was planning to invite strangers into our lives, into our bed. My stomach twisted. We weren't the open marriage type. Hell, we barely agreed on pizza toppings most nights. Now she wanted to treat our vows like a drive-through menu? I should have said something. I should have slammed my hand down on the counter, told her this wasn't happening, not in a million years. But instead, I just stood there, the beer sweating in my hand, my heart thudding like a drum line in my ears. 3 days later, everything exploded. I came home early from work. Something felt wrong all day, like a sixth sense crawling up the back of my neck. My boss, Derek, had told me to take the afternoon off after I spaced out one too many times during a meeting. You good, man? He'd asked, clapping me on the back. No, I wasn't good. I was a man standing at the edge of a cliff, pretending he didn't notice the ground crumbling under his feet. I pulled into the driveway, the sun glaring off Ashley's shiny white BMW. But it wasn't just her car in the drive. There was a sleek black Dodge Charger parked crooked behind it, engine still ticking. Plates I didn't recognize. My stomach dropped. The kind of drop where your body knows something your brain doesn't want to admit yet. I didn't even bother being quiet. I shoved open the front door and stormed inside. The sounds hit me first. Giggling. Muffled voices. The unmistakable thud-thud of hurried movements. I followed it like a bloodhound. Up the stairs, to our bedroom. The door was half open. Inside, Ashley was sitting on the edge of the bed, flushed and breathless, wearing nothing but one of my old college football shirts and a pair of underwear she didn't own last week. And next to her, some punk. Shaggy blonde hair, no shirt, jeans half-zipped, grinning like he owned the place. Ashley caught sight of me and froze. For a heartbeat, none of us moved. It was like a freeze frame from the worst movie ever made. Then she had the audacity, the absolute nerve, to laugh. Oh, don't look so surprised, Jason, she said, flipping her hair back like this was just another Tuesday. This is what you signed up for when you married me. I didn't even realize my fists were clenched until my nails bit into my palms. I didn't sign up for this sh*t, Ashley, I ground out. She rolled her eyes, like I was the crazy one. You're just mad you didn't think of it first, she said, tossing a wink at the shirtless jackass next to her, who still hadn't said a word. And right then, standing there, watching my wife flirt with a stranger in our bed, I felt something in me crack wide open. 3 days. That's all it took for her dream open marriage to blow up in her face. Because just as fast as she ran toward it, she realized she didn't like sharing me either. But it was too late. Way too late. I didn't say a word. I just turned around, walked out of the bedroom, and slammed the front door so hard behind me the windows shook. I needed air. I needed space. I needed to not see her smug little face for at least 5 minutes, or I was going to do something I'd regret. I ended up sitting in my truck, fist gripping the steering wheel, staring blankly at the dashboard. I could feel my heart thudding in my chest like a war drum, my breath coming too fast, too shallow. What the hell just happened? How did my life get hijacked in less than a week? I tried to piece it together, tried to find the moment where it all went wrong. But the truth was, Ashley had been slipping away for months. The late nights at work, the sudden interest in dressing up for girls' nights, the new lingerie she bought that I hadn't even seen her wear once. God, I was such a fool. My hands were shaking. I looked down at them like they belonged to someone else. Was this what betrayal felt like? Was this what being replaced felt like? And then the anger started boiling. A slow, searing rage that started deep in my gut and crawled up my spine. I wasn't going to sit here and cry like some chump while she was upstairs playing house with some college dropout. No. I yanked open the glove compartment, grabbed the spare garage remote, and let myself into the side entrance. Quietly this time. I didn't head back to the bedroom. Instead, I went straight for her phone. Ashley had gotten careless. Her purse was on the kitchen counter, wide open, like she thought she owned the place and nothing could touch her. I pulled out her phone, praying she didn't have it locked. She didn't. Typical Ashley, all bravado and no backup plan. My stomach turned as I scrolled through her messages. First name that hit me? Travis. Can't wait to taste you again, he'd written, not even trying to hide it. Your husband's such a dork, lol. Another one from a guy named Chad. You're way too hot to be loyal. And another from someone saved as workout buddy sweat droplets, real subtle, Ash. Each message was a bullet. Each little heart emoji, each smirking selfie she sent them, while I was breaking my back working overtime to pay for her damn spa days. They ripped into me like shrapnel. And that wasn't the worst part. I found a group chat. Her and 3 of her little witch friends, Brittany, Savannah, and Chloe, planning who they were going to test drive next. An open marriage is the best idea Ashley ever had, Brittany wrote. Girl, you're living the dream, Savannah added. F***K Jason, he's too boring anyway. I stared at the screen, feeling my entire body go numb. They weren't just cheating. They were mocking me, turning me into some punchline behind my back. That's when I realized Ashley hadn't just broken my heart. She'd nuked it from orbit and was dancing in the fallout. I shoved the phone back into her purse and leaned against the counter, breathing hard. I didn't want to believe it. Some stupid part of me still wanted to go back upstairs, shake her by the shoulders, and ask her why. Why wasn't I enough? But another part of me, the smarter part, the part that had been humiliated one too many times, knew the truth. Ashley didn't want answers. Ashley didn't even want me anymore. She wanted freedom. She wanted chaos. She wanted to open up the marriage and stuff herself full of validation like it was a Black Friday sale. And when it all went sideways, when reality hit her square in the face, because it always does, she was going to come crawling back. I knew it. I could feel it in my bones. But this time, I wasn't going to be there, waiting with open arms like a damn idiot. I wiped a hand down my face and laughed bitterly. No. If Ashley wanted an open marriage, she was about to see just how wide that door could swing, right into her face. And I was going to make sure she never forgot it. When I went back upstairs, I wasn't the same man who'd walked out. The Jason who still held on to hope, who still thought maybe this was a mistake. Maybe she was lost, he was dead and buried. Ashley was lying back on the bed like she owned the world, the punk next to her pulling on his hoodie, acting like he had somewhere better to be. She caught my eye and had the nerve to smirk. You're back, she said sweetly, like I was the one who should be apologizing for interrupting. I didn't answer. I just stared at her, really stared, and for the first time, I saw her clearly. Not the woman I married. Not the girl who used to scribble hearts in my notebooks in college. No. This was a woman who thought loyalty was a leash and betrayal was just self-discovery. I tossed her phone onto the bed between them. You forgot to delete your little fan club, I said quietly. Her face changed. Just a flicker. A tiny crack in her armor. She snatched the phone up and started tapping frantically, probably trying to erase the evidence. But it was too late. I saw everything, Ashley, I said. All the messages. All the little jokes. All the plans. You're not just a liar, you're a goddamn coward. She opened her mouth to argue, but I cut her off. And you, I said, turning to the shaggy-haired idiot still trying to slip out the door, you've got 5 seconds to get the hell out of my house before I turn you into a cautionary tale. He bolted like his ass was on fire. Ashley glared at me, arms crossed over her chest. You can't just kick people out like that, Jason. It's my house too. No, I said, stepping closer, voice low and deadly. It was our house. You turned it into a damn motel. Her lip curled in disgust. You're so dramatic, she said, tossing her hair back. It's just a little fun, Jason. God, you're such a prude. A little fun. A little fun. I felt my hands clench at my sides. I forced them to relax. You call disrespecting me, laughing at me, dragging our marriage through the mud, fun? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. You're even worse than I thought. She stood up, planting her hands on her hips. You just couldn't handle a strong woman, Jason. That's your problem. You want some obedient little wife who bakes cookies and waits for you to come home like a dog. I stared at her, feeling something inside me snap into focus. No, I said slowly. I just wanted someone who didn't treat marriage vows like toilet paper. She scoffed, rolling her eyes so hard I thought they'd pop out of her skull. You're such a child, she spat. Grow the hell up. Everyone does this, Jason. Monogamy's for losers. I stepped back, shaking my head. I feel sorry for you, I said honestly. You had someone who loved you more than anything in this world. And you threw it away for a couple of sweaty backseat sessions with guys who can't even spell commitment. She laughed, an ugly, bitter sound. Love? She sneered. If you loved me, you would have given me what I wanted. What you wanted, I repeated slowly, was to humiliate me. Congratulations. You got it. Her face twitched. For a second, just a second, I saw something flicker in her eyes. Maybe regret. Maybe fear. But it was gone as fast as it came. She straightened her shoulders, lifting her chin like a queen surveying a peasant. I'm filing for separation, she said coldly. You can either move out or stay in the guest room. But I'm not going to stop seeing other people just because you're having a meltdown. I smiled. A real smile this time. Don't bother, I said, pulling the ring off my finger and tossing it onto the bed. I'll save you the trouble. Her mouth opened in shock, but I didn't give her the satisfaction of hearing whatever pathetic excuse she had lined up. I turned and walked out. This time for good. The second the front door slammed behind me, it hit me like a punch to the gut. I stumbled down the porch steps, not caring if the neighbors saw me looking like hell. My legs felt like they barely worked, like the betrayal had drained the strength right out of me. I stood in the driveway, staring blankly at nothing, the late afternoon sun beating down on my skin. Sweat ran down my back, but I didn't move. Couldn't move. The truth was burning itself into my bones. Ashley wasn't mine anymore. Maybe she never really was. A weird, ugly sound ripped out of my chest, halfway between a laugh and a sob. I pressed the heels of my hands into my eyes like I could force the pain back in, stuff it into a box and pretend it wasn't there. But it was. It was everywhere. It was in the air I breathed, the weight on my shoulders, the hollow pit in my chest. I got into my truck, slammed the door, and just sat there gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. My mind wouldn't shut up. Every memory we ever made together flashed behind my eyes like some cruel highlight reel. Ashley laughing on our honeymoon when the boat almost tipped. Ashley crying happy tears when I surprised her with that ugly little puppy she wanted. Ashley falling asleep in my arms after long nights talking about the future. All of it fake. Or maybe just disposable to her. I should have seen it coming. The late nights. The new underwear. The way she started picking fights over nothing, accusing me of being distant while she was the one pulling away. But I wanted to believe in her so bad. I let myself get blinded. I let her turn me into a fool. I slammed my fist against the dashboard, the sharp pain shooting up my arm barely enough to register against the roaring storm inside me. God, I hated her. I hated her so much I could taste it. But worse, I still loved her. That was the sickest part. I still loved the version of her that was loyal. The version of her that whispered promises against my skin. The version of her that never really existed. I stared out the windshield at nothing for what felt like hours. At some point, my phone buzzed. I picked it up, half hoping, half dreading what I'd see. It was a text from Ashley. We should talk. Please don't do anything crazy. I let out a sharp, humorless laugh. Crazy? Crazy was thinking I could ever trust her again. I threw the phone onto the passenger seat like it burned. Talk? There was nothing left to talk about. She made her choice. She picked the strangers, the drunken nights, the cheap validation over real love. And now she wanted to talk? No. She could talk to Travis, to Chad, to workout buddy. I wasn't her safety net anymore. I fired up the engine and peeled out of the driveway, leaving black marks on the asphalt. A part of me wanted to drive somewhere, anywhere, just to get away from the stench of betrayal clinging to that house. Instead, I ended up at the park, the one where we used to walk the dog before she got too busy. I parked under a dying oak tree and just sat there, breathing hard, watching the world spin on without me. Kids played on the swings. Couples laughed on benches. Dogs barked, chasing frisbees. Life went on, even when yours crumbled. I leaned my head back against the seat and closed my eyes. I thought about the man I was before Ashley. The guy who believed promises meant something. The guy who thought love was enough to keep two people together. I missed him. I missed him like you miss a dead brother. But he was gone now, buried under the wreckage she left behind. All that was left was me, raw, broken, furious, but breathing. And maybe that was enough. For now. Maybe that was the first step to clawing my way back. Because one thing was damn sure. Ashley might have shattered the life we built, but she wasn't going to shatter me. Not forever. The next morning, my phone was blowing up. 27 missed calls. 9 voicemails. Texts coming in every 5 minutes like clockwork. All from Ashley. I didn't listen to a single one. Didn't need to. I already knew the tune. Desperate apologies, fake tears, maybe a few guilt trips sprinkled in for flavor. Typical Ashley. I sat at the edge of my bed in my crappy motel room, the mattress squeaking under my weight, staring at the sunlight creeping through the ratty curtains. It was weird how fast things could change. One day you're arguing about which color to paint the kitchen, and the next, you're wondering how you were ever stupid enough to think paint colors even mattered when the whole damn foundation was rotten. I scrolled through my contacts until I found the number for a divorce lawyer a buddy had once drunkenly recommended at a bachelor party, just in case. Funny how that just in case turned into reality. I didn't hesitate. 2 rings. Law offices of Grant and Silverman. A bored receptionist answered. I need to file for divorce, I said flatly. Name. Jason Carter. Reason? I smiled grimly. Infidelity. Multiple partners. There was a pause. Understood, Mr. Carter. We'll set up a consultation. Can you come in this afternoon? Yeah, I'll be there. I hung up and finally allowed myself a long, shaky breath. It felt good. It felt right. Ashley thought she could stomp all over me, drag my name through the mud, and still have me sitting there, loyal and pathetic, like some beaten dog. Not a chance. Not anymore. I threw on some clean clothes, grabbed my keys, and drove straight back to the house. This time, not to beg, not to cry, to reclaim what was left of my damn pride. When I pulled up, her car was in the driveway. No mystery charger today. Good. I wanted her alone. I walked in without knocking. It was still my name on the mortgage, after all. Ashley was sitting at the kitchen table, her face blotchy and red, mascara smeared like war paint. She jumped up when she saw me. Jason, she cried, rushing toward me like everything was fine. Like 3 days ago, she hadn't looked me in the eye and told me she was opening our marriage with or without my permission. I stepped back, holding up a hand. The slap of rejection hit her harder than any words could have. I'm not here for you, I said coldly. I'm here for my stuff. Her face crumpled. Please, she whispered. Can't we just talk about this? Talk? I repeated, laughing hollowly. You mean like adults? Like honest people? You lost that privilege when you started playing mattress bingo with half the damn city. She flinched like I'd hit her. Good. Let it sting. I made a mistake, she said, voice cracking. I was confused. I thought opening things up would make us stronger. You thought cheating would fix us, I snapped. Brilliant plan. Tears streamed down her face. I don't want it anymore, she said, grabbing at my hand. Please, Jason. I was wrong. I'll close it. I'll do whatever you want. I yanked my hand away like she was poison. Too late, Ash, I said. You already opened the door. And you can't close it now. She sobbed, falling into the chair like a puppet with its strings cut. Don't do this, she whispered. Don't throw away everything we built. You threw it away, I said, my voice low and final. You set it on fire and danced on the ashes. I turned and headed upstairs without another word, leaving her sitting there, broken. For once, it wasn't me picking up the pieces. It was her. And God help me, it felt damn good. Packing my stuff felt surreal. Every item I grabbed had a memory attached to it, like landmines hidden in the carpet. The old hoodie Ashley used to steal when she was cold. The wristwatch she gave me on our 2nd anniversary, back when her eyes still shone with something real. Even my damn toothbrush sitting there in the holder like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. I moved fast, mechanical, shoving clothes into duffel bags, ignoring the burn behind my eyes. I wasn't about to let her see me break. Not now. Not ever again. Downstairs, I could hear her pacing, her sobs leaking through the floorboards. She was panicking. Good. Let her feel a fraction of what she'd put me through. When I finally hauled the bags downstairs, she rushed to block the front door like she thought she could stop me. Please, she begged, grabbing onto my sleeve. I can fix this, Jason. I swear. It didn't mean anything. It was just physical. Just physical. Like that made it better. Like it mattered that she hadn't caught feelings while she shredded our marriage behind my back. I stared at her for a long, hard second. Ashley, the woman I once thought I'd grow old with, looked so small now. So desperate. So fake. I yanked my arm free. You don't get to bargain now, I said coldly. You made your choice when you decided every dirt bag with a working zipper was more important than your vows. She gasped, scandalized, like I was the villain in this story. You don't understand, she cried. I needed to feel alive again. I needed to know I was still wanted. I shook my head, bitter laughter spilling out before I could stop it. You were wanted, Ashley, I said. By me. Every damn day. She covered her face with her hands, shoulders shaking. But I didn't move, didn't comfort her, didn't say it was going to be okay. Because it wasn't. And I wasn't the fool anymore. I stepped around her and opened the door. The sunlight hit me like a slap, blinding and brutal. But it was real. Freedom. Painful, raw, blinding freedom. I threw the bags into the bed of my truck and slammed the tailgate shut. When I turned around, Ashley was standing there on the porch, barefoot and broken, her makeup streaked down her face like melted wax. I'll change, she whispered. I shook my head. No, you won't, I said. You'll say you will. You'll cry. You'll make promises. And maybe for a week, a month, you'll pretend to be someone else. But deep down, you'll still be the same selfish, lying little girl who thinks love is a game. Her lip trembled. I love you, she choked out. The words hit me like a hammer to the ribs. But I didn't flinch. No, I said quietly. You love yourself. You love attention. You love being worshipped. I climbed into the truck, heart pounding so hard it hurt. Goodbye, Ashley, I said through the window. She stepped off the porch like she might chase after me. But I didn't give her the chance. I threw the truck into reverse and peeled out of the driveway, gravel spitting from under the tires. In the rearview mirror, I caught a glimpse of her shrinking, fading, until she was nothing but a speck. Good. Let her stay small. I didn't even know where I was going. Didn't care. Every mile that ticked away under my tires felt like shedding a skin I should have burned off years ago. I was done being her doormat. Done being her plan B. Done letting her wipe her dirty boots all over my heart and call it love. Somewhere out there was a new life waiting for me. One where I didn't have to wonder who Ashley was texting at 2 a.m. One where loyalty still meant something. One where I didn't have to share the woman I loved with a parade of losers. And you know what? For the first time in a long time, I actually wanted to find it. 2 days later, she showed up at my motel. I should have expected it, but part of me hoped she'd at least have enough shame to stay away. No such luck. I was sitting on the bed, mindlessly flipping through TV channels, trying to drown out my thoughts, when a knock came at the door. I ignored it at first. Let it keep knocking. Let whoever it was figure out that I wasn't interested. But the banging didn't stop. Finally, I dragged myself over and yanked the door open. Ashley stood there, clutching a brown paper bag like some pathetic offering. Her eyes were red and swollen. She didn't look smug anymore. She didn't look powerful. She looked like exactly what she was, a liar who finally realized she lost something real. I brought dinner, she said, voice trembling. Your favorite. I stared at the bag. Like a burger and fries were going to patch the gaping wound she'd left. I didn't move. Please, she whispered, stepping closer. Can we just eat? Talk? I miss you, Jason. Her voice cracked, and for a second, the old Ashley, the one I married, flickered behind her eyes. But I wasn't that naive kid anymore. I stepped back and slammed the door right in her face. The knock came again, softer this time, almost pleading. Jason, she cried through the door. I made a mistake. Please, don't do this. I leaned against the door, breathing hard, fist clenched. It would have been so easy to open it, to let her in, to let her words wash over me and pretend it hadn't all happened. But I couldn't, because if I did, I'd be telling her it was okay, that I was okay with being betrayed, with being second best. And I wasn't. I wasn't okay. I turned the lock, final and loud. Silence. I peeked through the curtain just in time to see her standing there, shoulders slumped, the bag falling from her hands onto the dirty motel sidewalk. Then she turned and walked away. I didn't watch her go. I let the curtain fall back into place. The food sat there outside my door for hours, untouched. Just like our marriage. Left out in the cold, ruined by her choices. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the cracked ceiling, feeling a strange kind of peace settle over me. The storm was over. I wasn't sitting there wondering what she was doing. I wasn't losing sleep imagining her with someone else. Because now, I knew exactly who she was. And knowing was better than living in the fantasy. It was over. She could cry, beg, bribe, none of it mattered anymore. She wasn't mine. And more importantly, I wasn't hers. I drifted off to sleep sometime before sunrise, the first real sleep I'd had in months. No dreams. No nightmares. Just silence. And for once, that silence didn't feel empty. It felt like a beginning. A month later, I stood outside a different house, my house. No memories in these walls. No ghosts of betrayal lingering in the corners. Just fresh paint, empty rooms, and the smell of something new. Freedom. The divorce papers were signed. Ashley didn't even fight it in the end. Maybe she knew there was nothing left to save. Maybe she found someone else to ruin. Either way, it didn't matter anymore. I carried the last box inside and dropped it in the corner, wiping the sweat off my forehead with the back of my hand. It wasn't much. A few bags of clothes. Some old furniture I dragged out of storage. A mattress on the floor until I figured out something better. But it was mine, and no one could tear it apart but me. I stood there in the empty living room, breathing in the silence. It wasn't heavy anymore. It didn't press down on me like a weight. It lifted me up. I pulled out my phone and scrolled to Ashley's number. The one that used to pop up on my screen 100 times a day. I stared at it for a second. Then I hit delete. Gone. Just like her. For the first time, I allowed myself to think about everything that had happened without flinching. I thought about the night she declared she was opening up our marriage without even asking me. The way she laughed in my face, like I was the joke. The parade of men. The lies. The betrayal so deep it carved new scars I didn't even know I could have. And I thought about the man I was now. Stronger. Sharper. Wiser. Pain changes you. It burns away all the softness, all the illusions, all the childish hope that love is enough to save anything. It leaves you with hard edges and a clear view of the truth. And the truth is this. If someone loves you, truly loves you, they don't put you second. They don't gamble you away for cheap thrills. They don't spit on everything you built together and call it freedom. Love isn't about feeling alive at someone else's expense. It's about loyalty, respect, choosing each other, even when it's hard. Ashley didn't fail me because she made a mistake. She failed me because she never chose me when it mattered. And that's something you can't fix. No matter how many promises they make. No matter how many tears they cry. I learned that the hard way. But I learned it. If you're out there, if you're reading this and wondering whether you should forgive the one who shattered you, hear me. You owe them nothing. Not your time. Not your hope. Not your heart. Walk away. Walk tall. Walk free. Because you're worth more than the scraps they offer. You're worth a love that doesn't have to be shared. A love that doesn't come with terms and conditions. And you will find it. Someday. When you're ready. When you've healed the parts they tried to destroy. Until then, be your own home. Fill your own silence. Build your own life. And never, never, let a coward like Ashley write your story for you again. I dropped the phone on the counter, walked outside, and sat on the porch, watching the sunset paint the sky in fire. It was a new chapter. And this time, it was mine alone. The wind stirred around me, warm and clean, and for the first time in a long time, I smiled. Not because I was pretending. Not because I was trying to hold on to something broken. But because I was free. And that was more than enough.